Let's have a quick conversation about LendingPoint versus Prosper versus Discover. Of course, I'm speaking about personal loans today. And so the question is, which of these lenders is really best for you? So here are the facts I want you to think about. I first want to talk about LendingPoint, then I'll speak about Prosper, and then I'll just finish with Discover, okay? So when you think about LendingPoint, I want you to think about loans ranging from $1,000 all the way to $36,500. So this is actually the limit as of the date of this show. So 1,000 to 36.5 thousand. And the thing is that when you think about LendingPoint, I want you to think about flexibility because in terms of APR, they are starting you from 8% all the way to 36%. So that's kind of cool. And the minimum credit score is a little high. So you're probably looking at the 600 to 625. That's the minimum. So if you have a bad credit, you're not going to find your luck with the LendingPoint. So it's something that's really good to know, okay? But the cool thing about LendingPoint is that you have the possibility to actually pre-qualify. So you can have a soft credit check. So you can have like a soft pull to see if you can qualify, and if you can, how much you can qualify for. And you have fast funding. So the process for releasing funds is pretty fast. And also you have the ability to actually have like you can go through the LendingPoint mobile app to manage your loan payments, to also see how much you owe, like everything from how much you owe, the balance outstanding, to how much if you want to make payment. So that's kind of cool. And you also have the possibility to actually change your payment date. So if for any reason you feel like, you know what, on the first of the month, things are kind of tight for you and you like to move the date a little later, you can do that. That's not a problem. You also have with LendingPoint, you have a free credit score access. The only thing is that LendingPoint may charge you an origination fee, and they do not actually report payments to all three credit bureaus. They report to two, and there are no joint cosign or secure loans. And also, when you look at the maximum limit, 36,500, that's not really a lot because some players such as SoFi will give you a maximum of $100,000. So it is what it is. Again, the repayment window, I think I didn't say that, but it's 2 to 6 years. So 2 to 6 years, pretty interesting, okay? Now, do you qualify for a LendingPoint personal loan? Well, the best way to know this is actually to go through the pre-qualification process and see how much you can qualify for. So yeah, it is what it is. And also, you got to be a U.S. citizen or a green card holder and be at least 18 years old in most states. So when you think about LendingPoint, a loan from LendingPoint, they want you to have a maximum DTI of 50%. So we are speaking of here about the debt to income ratio, 50%, not including mortgage payments. So credit score minimum of 600 to 625. I just said that. And you got to have a minimum credit history of 6 months to actually qualify for that. A minimum income, $35,000. That's gross income, okay? So this is what it is. Now, the only thing is that you want to make sure that if you have any questions, you want to contact LendingPoint first before actually making a move, okay? And also make sure that you calculate your monthly payments to see how much you can actually spend, like in terms of cash inflows and cash outflows. Check your credit, because even though you can have you have the possibility to have a soft pull through a LendingPoint, you still want to see where you are at, right, in terms of FICO score before you actually immerse yourself into the LendingPoint process. And so make a plan to repay the loan. In other words, you want to actually budget the loan payment in your cash outflow to see if you can actually afford that, okay? And gather your documents. I mean, LendingPoint may require documents that prove your income, and this could be your W-2, pay stub, or tax documents, as well as a proof of address and also a social security number, okay? So you just want to have all those things at the ready so that everything is fine. But again, I want to insist on the fact that if you have any questions, it's always better to actually contact LendingPoint first. They have a great customer service. They'll answer all questions you have before you actually do anything. Or you can just let us know in the comment section. One of our team members will get back to you and really explain to you how the process works based on where you're applying from and what kind of requirements that LendingPoint might have, and depending upon your situation, because even though they have a preliminary like standard requirements, there could be more requirements depending on your situation. depending on your state also, because the Lending Point, a good thing is Lending Point is available in all 50 states. That's cool because some players such as SoFi or Prosper, I'll speak about Prosper later on. They do not actually operate in all 50 states. So you want to make sure that your state qualifies, like your city and county qualified for the kind of location that Lending Point covers before you start anything. I want to talk to you about the second lender in today's conversation at Prosper. So I'm still talking to you about Lending Point versus Prosper versus Discover. So when you think about Prosper, what you want to think about first is that you have a higher limit in terms of loan amount, because Lending Point was actually capping you at 36.5 thousand, right? Prosper is going a little further. So Prosper will give you a maximum loan amount of $50,000. So you're looking at a loan range from $2,000 to $50,000. Okay. And that's kind of cool. And Prosper also has a lower, like a relatively lower minimum credit score. So Prosper will qualify you with a credit score around 550, which is way lower than the 600 that Lending Point will qualify you for. Okay. And that's kind of cool. But you have to remember that Prosper is charging you a maximum origination fee of 10%. So origination fees go from 1% to 9.99%, and but yeah, and the maximum APR with Prosper is actually 36%. So kind of similar to what Lending Point is charging. I mean, that's the legal limit, and that's what all lenders actually qualify for. I mean, that's what they actually charge. Okay. So one thing I want to say here is that when you think about Prosper, I want you to think about flexibility. I want you to flexibility in terms of loan amounts, flexibility in terms of loan terms, because Prosper gives you the possibility to repay the loan of in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 4 years. I mean, that's really good because you want to have the possibility, you want to have the flexibility in terms of your budget. Okay. And so now there could be additional fees. So, you can have like late fees. In addition to the origination fee, you might have like late fees. You might have insufficient funds fees in case you do not actually pay on time, or you have a bounce check. And there could also be in some cases prepayment penalty fees. Now, Prosper ordinarily does not charge they don't charge borrowers a prepayment penalty for paying off their loans before the end of their loan term. But it's one of those things where you have to really see your specific situation. So when you think about Prosper, how do you qualify for a personal loan through Prosper? Well, the process is kind of similar to what you have with Lending Point. In other words, you have the possibility to actually pre-qualify. Okay, you would definitely want to pre-qualify. So you want to go through a soft pull process to see what you can qualify for. Okay. And so, but one thing you want to make sure that you want to really prove to Prosper that you are able to repay the loan in terms of, and you want to show this through your income, for instance. Okay. And so this is really good. But again, the credit score requirement, the minimum here, you are looking at 550 minimum. That's really cool. And in terms of income requirements, Prosper will actually qualify you if you have a minimum income of $24,000 to $36,000 a year. So we are speaking about gross income. Okay. But again, I'm giving you the minimum. So you can have somebody who's making 6 digits anyway and still qualify. But so the thing is that when it comes to applying for a personal loan through Prosper, this is kind of similar to Lending Point. Nothing really different here. You want to pre-qualify. You want to choose the loan terms and submit documentation. You want to await approval. Okay. I mean, approval can actually happen within 1 to 2 days, depending upon the backlog of loan application that they have. But usually it's pretty fast. Okay. It's pretty fast. And once you are actually approved, you can get the cash actually within 24 hours. So time to release the funds, it's really fast. And one of the major advantages of going through Prosper is that basically they report to all 3 credit bureaus, not just to like the Lending Point. So they will report to Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So you are sure that you are building credit by repaying your loan. Okay. So that's what it is. So, but the thing is that when you think about Prosper, again, I think I said this before, but the flexibility and also the affordability, and in addition, flexibility in terms of the minimum credit score, affordability in terms of the APR. Okay, but if you were to compare, let's say, Prosper to SoFi or Lightstream, for instance, you can see that Prosper is not really. Prosper is not really matching up. Why? Because SoFi is giving you a maximum loan amount of $100,000, and so is Livestream. Whereas Prosper is giving you a maximum loan amount of 50 grand. So it's one of those things where if you're looking for, let's say, a large loan amount, you just want to go to SoFi or Livestream. Okay, Prosper is not going to help you there. They're great, but maximum is 50. The only thing you have to remember here is that Livestream is kind of cool. They will give you $100,000, but Livestream has a higher limit in terms of credit score. I want to talk to you now about Discover. So Discover is the third lender I want to talk to you. I wanted to discuss today with you. So what do you think about Discover? What should you be thinking about here? First of all, the loan amount, the loan range that you're looking at, you are looking at $2,500 to 40 grand. Okay, 40 grand. And the APR with Discover is way lower. So maximum APR with Discover is 25%. So it goes from 8% to 25%. But the Discover does require a minimum credit score of 600 to 650. Now, if you are a current card holder with Discover, that really kind of helps. Now, the thing is, Discover is known across the board for its credit cards, that's for sure. But Discover is also a bank. Discover is a neobank, is an online bank, not a neobank. It's an online bank. So basically, you have the possibility to open a checking account or savings account with Discover. In addition to getting a personal loan, Discover back in the days used to provide business loans, but also business credit cards. But they stopped it. They stopped it, a little bit before COVID. Okay. So, but the cool thing about Discover is that their personal loan has no origination fee. You have fast funding. You have direct payment to creditors with debt consolidation loans. So that's kind of cool. You have a wide variety of repayment term options, and Discover is available nationwide. So you don't have this sort of restriction that you have with some lenders that do not actually cover the whole United States, right? They cover maybe 30 states or 25 states, and they're working on getting a banking license with all the other states. So this could be a little problematic, but Discover doesn't have that problem. Discover actually covers the whole United States, and so this is good. This is good. But Discover doesn't give you the option to co-sign or even have a joint loan option. So it is what it is. But remember, you're looking at 2,500 to 40 grand. Okay, and the repayment window here, you're looking at 3 to 7 years, and but the loan can be dispersed real fast. Okay, really fast. It can be as fast as 4 hours, and we've seen 4 hours to 24 hours in terms of funds being released. So when you think about Discover personal loans, it's really important to understand that you have flexibility in terms of what you can use the loan for. Okay, there's actually you have a lot of possibilities. For instance, you can actually use a Discover loan for home improvement, for debt consolidation, for emergencies, for medical and dental bills, for vacations, for weddings, for adoption. That's kind of cool. That's the flexibility that we always like when we analyze personal loans. You have fertility treatments, funerals, and business expenses. Because even though Discover doesn't really have a proper business loan, you can actually get a personal loan from Discover and use it for business purposes. And also, if you have other large purchases, you can qualify with that. That's not a problem. Discover wants you to have a minimum annual household income of 25 grand. So you're looking at $25,000 gross income, and the income can come from various sources. So that's kind of cool because Discover gives you flexibility there. Okay, income can come from employment, retirement, alimony, child support, Social Security payments, disability benefits, you name it. Discover will actually honor it. Okay, so to actually go through, let's say, like before applying for a Discover loan, the same process here. You have the possibility to actually go through a soft pull. So Discover gives you the ability to check your credit, to check your loan possibilities, if you will. You also want to make sure that you check your credit. You go to annualcreditscore.com, see that you have the possibility, the budgetary possibility to repay the loan, and then you pre-qualify. I mean, the cool thing about Discover is you can pre-qualify over the phone. That's kind of cool. You can pre-qualify over the phone or online or even in the app. Okay, and you always want to make sure that you actually choose a loan that once they give you a set of loan amounts, you want to choose a loan that really fits within your budget. Okay, but maximum you can get with Discover is 40 grand. 40 grand, and that's kind of cool because again, that's really kind of decent. So I just gave you like a pretty granular overview of LendingPoint, Prosper, and Discover, right? So when you think about the Discover versus LendingPoint versus Prosper, which one should you go for? Which loan should you go for? Before I answer that question, let me give you the methodology you want to go through before making a choice, okay? It's important, first of all, to have a clear idea about how much money you need. How much you need, because if you look at LendingPoint, Prosper, or Discover, they have minimum loan amounts. So, and the minimum loan amount revolves around $1,500. So, question is, do you need that much, or do you that if you need that much, then that's fine. If you don't need that much, then you want to go for like those payday loans or other loans, okay? And you also want to really ask yourself whether you want the money to be sent to your account, because basically some of those lenders, they want you to have a sorry about this. They want you to have a bank account. So the thing is that, let me drink some water here. Sorry about that. So what I'm trying to say here is that you want to make sure that you have a bank account, right? Because otherwise, you might not qualify, because some of those lenders, they want you to have a checking account, okay? And you also want to ask yourself, what kind of repayment window are you looking at? Because the repayment window is really around 2 to 7 years. And so do you need that long? Do you need that much? Do you need that many days to actually, not many days, many months to repay the loan? So you always want to choose a lender based on the repayment window also, okay? And also pay attention to the fees, because see, LendingPoint and Prosper are charging you origination fees. Discover is not. So if origination fees are really critical to you, don't go for a LendingPoint or Prosper. You want to go for Discover, because at least you sure you're getting all your cash, okay? And this is important because some people don't care about the origination fees. Some really do. So also you got to ask yourself whether or not you want to have you want to really co-sign the loan, or you want to go solo, because if your credit score is kind of low and you feel like you want to increase your chances of qualifying for a loan, maybe you can look for a joint loan or co-sign the loan that you are applying for. This could increase your chances of actually qualifying for the loan, okay? So LendingPoint versus Prosper versus Discover, which one should you go for? So here's the lender I want to give you. The choice is Discover, because LendingPoint is charging you an origination fee. Prosper is also doing it. Discover is not. Okay, so go for Discover. Is actually the best in our view. So in conclusion to this conversation, I spoke to you about LendingPoint versus Prosper versus Discover. I give you the facts, the methodology, the lender, and now the conclusion. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.